welcome to the Food for Mzansi and Neosun Energy webinar titled Solar Solutions for a Sustainable Food Industry. Insights, of course, from Neosun Energy as well as Food for Mzansi. My name is Duncan Masiwa, Assistant Editor for the agricultural publication Food for Mzansi. And we're excited to have you join us for what we believe will be an insightful session on how solar energy is transforming the food sector. Of course, in the ever-evolving landscape of agribusiness, where efficiency and sustainability are key, innovative solutions are needed to ensure profitability as well as environmental stewardship. Now, among these solutions, solar energy has emerged as a transformative force with the ability to reduce energy costs, enhance agricultural productivity, and contribute to environmental goals. Solar power is increasingly becoming an integral part of modern farming. Today, we'll explore this in detail and, of course, learn from industry experts as they share practical strategies for integrating solar solutions. Thank you so much for joining us. This is, of course, an open platform where we'll have an opportunity for you to ask questions. But like I said, I'm not on my own. I'm joined by the Neosun Energy team, and they will be giving us a series of presentations on some of the work that they've done and that they are doing within the agricultural landscape. So let's kick it off. Jeanine joining us. She's the head of sales at Neosun Energy. Jeanine Jackson, thank you so much for joining us. Over to you.
Thank you, Duncan. Thank you so much for the amazing introduction. Yes, so just a quick introduction of myself. I'm Jeanine Jackson, and I'm the head of sales at Neosun Energy. Today, I've got the amazing support of Herve Nsumba, who is our head engineer, and then also Dita Bochad from Infant Finance, who will be taking us through some education on PPA agreements. And then we've also got Victor Mouton, who will be taking us through some economic education and how solar benefits farmers. So yeah, I'm quite excited to kick today off. And yeah, let's get right into it. So just covering the agenda, we're going to cover a little short story about Neosun Energy. We're going to move over to some education on PPA agreements and how it benefits business, for future savings within the business. We're going to have a quick overview on how solar energy benefits your business, how Neosun Solutions benefits the food industry, and how Neosun Energy can actively support your business. Then we're going to take you through the economic benefits of what solar can bring to farmers. We can have a quick interactive Q&A session, and then we're done. Then we're going to be wrapped up for the afternoon. So just a bit about Neosun Energy. We are a global EPC company which provides a commercial solar PV and energy storage solution with a capacity of 200 kilowatts to 10 megawatts for commercial and industrial projects worldwide. We were founded in 2015 as a manufacturer of advanced solar panels and lithium-ion batteries, and we now offer turnkey solutions all over the world. We've got a global footprint in 16 different countries, and our focus is to bring future sustainability and savings to our customers. With a strong focus on research and development, we are able to produce and supply an advanced energy solution for all your commercial installations, and our global presence allows us to reduce manufacturing and logistical costs. I'm excited to announce that our team in Joburg consists of business development managers and sales support, as well as engineers who are equipped to offer you a personalized and tailored solution according to your business needs. Just to touch on our roadmap. So basically, the roadmap for Neosun Energy is to build a McDonald's or a Starbucks for solar all over the world. Our head office is based in Hong Kong, and we boast beautiful branches in Dubai, Lahore, Karachi, Johannesburg, and Cape Town. We are excited to target manufacturing businesses, warehouses, shopping malls, retail parks, commercial offices, mining and industrial facilities, as well as pharmaceutical businesses. Yeah, so we've got an exciting session planned. In the comments box right now, what you can do is you can basically just type in your name and your surname, your title at the company you work for, as well as the company, so that we can see who we're chatting to. At any point in the webinar, you're more than welcome to say hi. We're going to engage with you as much as we can. Yeah, and later we'll have more engagement opportunities. I'd like to now hand the floor over to Dieter Bochard, who's going to take us through the PPA agreements and give us some education on how PPA agreements can benefit our business and give us some savings in the long run. Thank you, Dieter.
Thank you, Jeanine. Okay, everyone, how's it? My name is Dieter Borchard. I work for an amazing company called EnFin, short for Energy Finance. We established from France, so we are using international funding. We have been functioning in South Africa since early 2021. And obviously we are specializing in the power purchase agreement sector at the moment. As we didn't want to enter the rental game and other funding solutions, we wanted to focus on our whole ethos, which is a client-centric system where we're benefiting the clients, priority number one. We're also looking after EPCs like Neosun in South Africa as well. And obviously, all benefits have to go towards the SCG as well, as we know that it is a very big thing that is coming up in South Africa at the moment, looking at the whole demographic of South Africa. Locations, Central, Bloemfontein, that focuses on our whole Northern Cape, Free State, Lesotho, and down to Eastern Cape, Western Cape, obviously, looking after over Western Cape. And then myself, I head up the branch up here in Gauteng, which obviously focuses on Gauteng, Limpopo, Northwest, and so forth. The main sectors that we have identified that are the most beneficial for power purchase agreements, and obviously understanding that a power purchase agreement is a quantity over quality game. The more electricity a client is using, the better and more positive effects we have on their cash flow, especially on a saving perspective. I'm going to go more into depth now, with all of that right now. So obviously the agricultural sector, which you guys are already focusing on as well. We've got the irrigation, cold storage, farming, and obviously packing facilities. Commercial, stock standard, especially in Gauteng, is a very big industry. Same with the industrial sector. And then obviously also education and other sectors, also hospitality, hotels, residential, and so forth. Okay, so big reason. Why do customers want to go with a power purchase agreement versus any other rental form? Obviously, when we finance our systems through either the banks or rental companies, it is all on balance sheets, rentals, cash flow. It will appear on your credit facility. And that is a big thing for a lot of big guys and companies, is that they don't want their credit facilities to become diminished because of solar. They want to know that if they're installing a 20 million rand system on their roof, that 20 million rand is not going to be taken off their cash flow books through the banks, in case they want to do expansions and so forth. So the nice thing about it is, from a customer side, there's zero capital outlay from their side. SARS and everyone doesn't know what's happening. Power purchase agreement, obviously, in conjunction with Neosun and our own in-house engineers, we ensure that the systems are spec'd 100% according to the client's desired outcome, to ensure that we offer them the best tariff at all times throughout the year, that they will see a positive cash flow. Because the problem is, hence, once again, if we go with rentals and financing through the bank, you will sign an ironclad contract that will stipulate that you will pay a fixed amount per month. The reason why you want to bring in a power purchase agreement, especially if you're a high energy consumer, is to have the flexibility that you're only paying for the electricity you use. And that's in essence, the biggest reason why anyone's going to go power purchase agreement. Because we might have, for example, if I'm in an industrial commercial sector, I might have certain downtime throughout the year. Maybe in December, I see that there is a negative drop in my consumerism within my business, or in wholesale or whatsoever. We close down from, let's say, the 10th of December all the way up until the 10th of Jan. Now, a lot of companies that have gone through the rental aspect will have to pay for that month, but now through a power purchase agreement aspect, the client is almost sort of looked after and tailor-made, that even in that season where there's a low season, is still covered. Roof rentals, we're not going to focus too much on that, because it's certain guys that do want to do roof rentals are obviously just a bit crazy on that side. obviously everyone's already educated with the different types of solar systems. I mean, we're not sitting here with a bunch of people that don't understand what they know. So that's pretty simple. But as we go, grid side is obviously the biggest priority, especially with the power purchase agreement, because the rate per watts is extremely low, giving us the opportunity to provide a greater saving for the clients. I mean, in general, on power purchase agreements, if we focus on a grid side for a client, a client will see anything from a 35 to up to some cases a 65% saving on the electricity bill. And obviously we have to keep in mind that electricity is purely daylight electricity. We're not saying that we're going to be saving you 65% of your entire electricity bill. We have to keep it realistic. It's daytime. Obviously, once we go off grid, that's a different scenario. Off grid is a great solution for your agricultural sector. Like you guys would know, fuel saving is very big with our mining sector. The guys that have already got massive diesel generators installed, we go put down a grid tie system, do the gen integration, and Bob's your uncle. We've got and then obviously the hybrid savings. Yeah, we've got obviously massive references for some of the sites that we obviously already have on our books, and we're monitoring. And as I stipulated, now I'm going to stop sharing over there because obviously I want to speak to you guys a little bit. So I hope let's just quickly get this back. Okay. And I don't know if I'm back. Anyways, Duncan, okay, yeah. So Jeanine, very simple. To get back to the power purchase, obviously I was thrown a bit on the bus last night to be asked to be in a panelist over here, so I didn't have much. And obviously we always present with Q&As. Short and sweet, infants. Yeah, we've got the capital. We're not using APSA or anyone else's money. We've got our own in-house capital. We've got more than enough money from overseas, from Europe. We want to back companies like Neosun in South Africa. That's why we don't have our own installation companies. We don't have our own technician companies. We want you guys to do the full spectrum of that. We want to back you guys all the way with all of your clients to ensure that the clients have got a well-rounded, well-funded solution that will back them. And let's go back to the points of no zero capital outlay for the clients. Insurance is included. Operations and maintenance is included. Everything is included. The client will receive an invoice once a month that will stipulate, let's say, for example, they signed at 150 a kilowatt times by the amount of kilowatts that they consumed in that month, and that will be the only invoice. There's no deposit. There's no subscription fees. There's nothing. We only escalate with anything from 6 to 7%, whatever the client signs on, once per year, which is nothing compared to what Eskom and Centric and all these other municipalities are expecting at the moment, especially if you look at the hikes that they want to go through. And clients have got the opportunity to upgrade, downgrade the system throughout the contract as well. We also do include clauses like an early buyout clause, which is very, very comfortable for the clients, especially on bigger sites, especially on sites where the clients do have a strong funding system within their own company, and they would like to use Enfin's money to fund Neosun's system to see how it works over the next 2 or 3 years. And once they feel at peace at their heart that they see how well the system works, they see the great return of investment that the system gives, and then they can go out and purchase the system back in full and take full ownership. And then they'll obviously sign a separate operations and maintenance contract with Neosun to look after it. So as Infin, if I can round ourselves up versus a lot of the other funders in the industry, because I do work very closely with a lot of the other guys, we offer a great amount of flexibility that's tailor-made for the client. With every single one of our clients, when we head into the final contractual phase, we give them full light to please change and alter the contract as they feel fit. Because at the end of the day, if a client is going to sign anywhere from a 10 to 25 year power purchase agreement, the client needs to have so much peace at their heart that they're signing with a company that is going to look after them for the remainder. It's literally like entering into a marriage. So we have to have full transparency walking into this marriage. And we need to know that both of us are going to benefit out of this. At the end of the day, it doesn't help you try and neglect a client within the first year, but you've got a 20-year agreement. I mean, it's gonna disable me, it's gonna disable the clients, and it's gonna disable Neosun as the installer as well. So that's the beauty that I love about a power purchase agreement, is that everyone's here to benefit, But at the same time, if the circle is not complete, all of us are going to go down together as well. And that to me is reassurance to the clients. And that's why I sell it to a lot of the clients, is that no one can benefit more than the other one in the spectrum. It's not like going and taking money from the bank. The bank doesn't care whether installation is done correctly or not. As long as they've deployed the money and the clients have signed the contract, they're getting their money back. And that's just it. Whereas with a power purchase agreement, if the system does not work according to the agreed upon specs, the client does not have to pay for the electricity because the service is not being provided. And this gives so much safety and security to the client to know that if the system does not generate what was promised, the client can walk away at any time because it's a service agreement. And then Enfin has to pull out the money along with Neosun to make sure that the system is back up and operational to give the client the service that they desired from the beginning. So in a nutshell, that's very short. Jeanine, Duncan, I don't know if there's any other topics you guys want to pick up, or should we leave the rest for the Q&A? I don't want to speak too much, obviously, because we've got a timeline. Duncan, you guys good?
Thank you so much, Dieter, for that presentation on power purchase agreements. Of course, understanding what they are, how they work, and of course the benefits of that. We'll leave the questions for the Q&A session a bit later, and then we'll go into the next part of our program. Of course, Jeanine, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dieter, for that insightful educational session regarding PPA PPA agreements. The one thing that resonated with me was peace of mind for our customers, and also, the amount of savings that the customer will be able to see over a certain amount of time. So it's very different to your rental or your rent-to-own agreements. There's a lot of ways to mitigate risk, and if we don't go according to every single thing or every single promise that we put in the PPA agreement, the customer is not liable to pay for us. It's very important for us to know that through these PPA agreements, our customers will have peace of mind, and they will grow towards, their businesses will grow towards a more sustainable and a future of savings. Without further ado, I'd like to hand the floor over to Herve, which is our head engineer. And yeah, anytime through this webinar, you're more than welcome to put your questions in the Q&A box. And at the end, we'll also have a little form that you can complete so that one of our business development managers can contact you after this webinar. Herve, thank you so much. We look forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Jeanine. My name is Herve Nsumba. I'm a senior engineer at Neosun Energy. I'm head of construction as well as engineering. Let's start from the main activity from Neosun Energy. So Neosun Energy is a global EPC company, EPC which stands for engineering, procurement, and construction. But on top of that, Neosun also design and manufacture its own panels, solar panels, inverters, as well as batteries. And we do the design of the solar PV system and battery storage from 50 kilowatt up to 10 megawatt. But if there is any need for a system above 10 megawatts, we are more than capable of designing and implementing that project. Looking at overview of the solar energy benefit. First of all, the need for installing solar PV system and battery backup, it's mostly for cost savings. We have seen how the price of electricity is shooting up, and you having your own source of energy. That means that you are not exposed to the hike in electricity tariff. That's cost savings. We look at low maintenance cost. The solar PV system does not have any moving parts. That means that it requires less maintenance, which means that you have to spend less on the maintenance. It gives you independence. In terms of energy, you don't have to rely on the national grid. You can be able to generate your own clean energy because you have got access to the solar, the sunshine. And also it does increase the value of the property. We all know that if you have got solar PV system installed on top of your roof, the value of your property goes up. Looking at the solution that we have got for the food industry, see that by having your solar PV system, you can be able to provide your own clean energy into the processing plant, and this helps you reduce your energy, reduce your electricity bills, and also save you on carbon emission. You can be able to power up your equipment and machineries. And also this provide a reduction in our operating cost, which means that if you spend less on energy provided, then price of the food goes also down, which means that it actually benefit the end user, who is the consumer. And you've got a backup solution, which means that regardless of the grid instability, you can be able to generate your power through your solar PV system as well as your battery backup. And you've got an opportunity to have an off-grid solution, which means that for remote places, remote areas where there is no grid, you can be able to supply power using solar and battery backup. And also you can also run automated feeders, lights, and ventilation for livestock facilities. So in terms of solutions that are being offered by Neosun Energy, we've got three different solutions. One would be the on-grid solution, second one off-grid, and then we've got a hybrid solution. Let's start from the on-grid solution. So the on-grid solution is the cheapest solution because it's just made of solar panels and inverters. So the solar panels absorb the irradiation from the sun and then take it through the inverter, and then the inverter convert it into usable energy for your home appliances. This setup can reduce your electricity bills by up to 55%, and you can even go more than 55% if you shift your load during the day. And you've got also an opportunity or an option to export the excess power into the grid and then get credit from the municipality or directly from Eskom. This is a case study of one of the farm in Malanga, 105 kilowatts peak system. The total project cost was about 1.1 million. And if the client would purchase this system on once off, he will get about 55% bill reduction. But however, if you need to go for PPA or rent to own, you will still see savings of up to 35%. 35.1%, which means that with zero investment, you can still make savings of up to 35.1%. So the second setup is going to be an off-grid solution. So this is mostly for remote places and mine. So off-grid solution, it's actually providing you 100% of energy demand. It's actually a system that is covering up your full energy consumption because there is no grid available. So the way the off-grid system works is that during the day, you've got the solar panels that are generating energy. The energy flows through to your load. And if there is any excess energy generated during the peak hours, that energy is being stored into the battery backup. And then you can be able to use that battery backup outside of the daylight or during cloudy days. And it's actually more beneficial because it helps you extend your self-consumption. That means that you don't lose that excess power generated during the day. You actually store it into the battery and use it later during the night or outside of the daylight. So this is one of Neosun PowerHub solution. It's a containerized solution. It's ready-made. It's easy to assemble. It takes about 2 to 4 hours to put it together. It comes with panels in 2 different sizes, 12 kilowatts and 50 kilowatts. This is mostly for remote places, site construction, as well as mining. You can be able to use this into the food industry as well. And next slide. As you can see, it can be customized to look like an office where you've got some chairs, you've got tables, and it comes up with the air conditioning, and the container is fully customized to be used as an office. So the application for this PowerHub, it's mostly for mining and industrial facility, road construction, rural grocery shops, post office, and other places where there is no grid available. And then we've got a hybrid solution. So this hybrid solution has got, the main role of hybrid solution is actually to reduce your electricity bills and also provide security of supply, which means that in a case of grid failure, you can still rely on the battery backup to provide power to your load. Within the hybrid solution, we have 3 scenarios. One scenario will be if your solar PV system is generating more power than what you need for your place, The excess energy is then stored into battery. And for the second scenario is if your solar PV system is generating less than what you require from your household, the solar PV system will generate power, and then you can be able to source excess power from the battery, cover up for your load consumption. And third one is when your solar PV system is generating exactly the same amount of what you need. Power is just flowing through to your load directly. Thus, there is no need of you drawing power from the grid, which means that it can actually provide you security of supply and a great reduction in electricity bills. So this is a case study of a processing plant in Gauteng, where we've got a 348 kilowatt solar PV system with a 800 kilowatt hour battery. On a cash purchase, the client will see energy reduction or bill reduction of up to 90.41%. However, if you need to go for a PPA or rent-to-own option, you will still see reduction of up to 75.73%. But this is with no upfront payment. So on top of Neosun being a global EPC company, we also have our after-sale services, which is the operation and maintenance. After we have built, construct the solar PV system, we don't leave you on your own. We take care of the system, which is part of our customer service. We provide the operation and maintenance, which means that we have to keep on monitoring your solar PV system after commissioning. We do the online monitoring. If there is any issue, we can be able to address that and then get a technician to site if there is a need to get a technician to site. And we've got also a preventive maintenance, which is that we make sure that we prevent any issue that may arise. That means that we visit the site every quarter of the year to check the hotspots, to clean up the panels, just to make sure that solar PV system is generating as per our prediction. Next one. So how can Neosun support your business? So Neosun can support your business in reducing your electricity bills. We all agree that by installing solar PV system and battery backup solution, you can be able to reduce your energy consumption, thus you will have to save on your electricity bills. And you've got energy independence, which means that you don't have to rely on the grid or national grid. You have a second source of supply. That means that you have got options. And also you kind of saving the planet, doing the right thing by reducing the carbon footprint. And also there is operational efficiency. So when you have got Neosun Energy, when you've got a solar PV system and battery backup storage, you have less interruption. If the grid fails, you don't actually feel it because you have got battery backup that you rely on. And this is a long-term investment, which means that you can actually also plan your cash flow because you know more or less if you are on a PPA, you know more or less how much you pay per month than being surprised by Eskom hike. Say that next year is 36% increase, the following year is 50% increase. However, with solar PV system and PPA, you can be able to predict and know that next year there is a 7% increase, and you can be able to plan your cash flow accordingly. So these are some of the sites that we have done. This is a rooftop 58 kilowatt peak system made of Canadian solar panels. This site sees about 88 megawatt hour energy generation per year, and they see savings of up to 55%. And this is also a rooftop with a triangle teat, which is 66 kilowatt peak system, more than 60 megawatt hour energy generation. And this is a ground mount. This is just to show you that Neosun have got expertise from rooftop to ground mount solar solution. This is a Fox Lodge Hotel, which is about 102 kilowatt peak system with an energy yield of about 110 megawatt hour in a year. And these are the example of some other mounting ground mount mounting system, 117 kilowatt peak system with more than 160 megawatt hour energy generation in a year. This is an irrigation system for irrigation, mostly for farming. It's 582 kilowatt peak system, and this is 100% renewable. It's not a grid tie solution. It's actually providing power for this irrigation plant, which is independently running off solar and battery backup. And this is an example of our PowerHub solution. This is the smaller version of it. As said initially, we can customize it to the client need. Perfect. So that's it from my side. Jeanine, I will hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Herve, for that informative session. It's also nice to know that Neosun Energy offers, some guarantees and warranties on the systems. It's important for our customer to also understand, that there's a 12-year, I think there's a 12-year warranty on our solar PV with 25 years on performance, and then taking us through to our inverters and our battery backup warranty. So it's also very important that when you're purchasing a solar system, that you understand, how long your system will last you for, and those are all covered in your PPA agreement, as well as if you buy the system cash, it also is included in your agreements with Neosun Energy South Africa. Yes, we're ready to go in through the interactive Q&A session. I'm going to be reading it from my colleague's laptop. So let's go. The first one is for Dieter. How much funding is granted by Enfin, and is this only for installers? What are some of the criteria that Enfin is looking for?
So currently we're sitting in our coffers right now. We've got 3.6 billion. We do have a lot more available, but obviously, we don't want it to lie around here for too long. So that's that. What's the next question?
What are some of the criteria that Enfin is looking for?
Okay, so criteria from a client side.
Yes, correct.
Okay, cool. So criteria from a client side is obviously we do a stereotypical credit application like you would if you walked into MTN or Vodacom, just to do affordability background checks, make sure that all payments are up to date, so forth. Because obviously if we're going to be entering into a 20-year agreement, we'd have to ensure that the client is a high-paying client. It's not someone that runs away from their bills and that. So one of the biggest criteria we do look at that is very, very evident in some of our clients. And we actually had a certain case scenario with one of the Neosun clients. I don't know if you guys can recall, but he was not going to name any names, of a client that refused to pay his Eskom bills. And unfortunately, how that resulted in him being blacklisted in certain ways. And obviously, if a client's not willing to pay Eskom, I doubt they're going to pay Enfin. Okay, anything else? So yeah, so management accounts, all that kind of stuff obviously has to be up to date. We're looking for eligible clients. We're not looking for people that are shady, that are trying to get away from Eskom, trying to evade tax and that kind of stuff, because obviously we ourselves, like I'm sure Neosun is also, we are constantly under the microscope with SARS and other organizations to ensure that all of our code of ethics and everything is up to standard.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for answering that question, Dieter. Our next question is for Herve. How can solar power improve energy efficiency and reduce cost for farmers like myself using irrigation systems? How much money will I really save?
All right, perfect. So in terms of savings, that can only be done when we know exactly how much you spend on energy consumption on your electricity bills currently. But however, if you're only looking at reduction in your electricity bills, we will propose a grid tie solution, which of course works during the day when the sun is available, and you will have to change some of your behavior of shifting most of your load during the day for you to get the full benefit of the solar PV system. The reduction in bills can go up to 55%, even more if you shift your load during the day.
Okay, great. Thank you, Herve. The next question is for Victor. Regarding the increase in electricity prices, can Neosun Solutions help businesses and homeowners save a few bucks? I think that question would be more for Herve than Victor.
Of course, I can jump in. So, looking at the increased price of electricity currently, remember, the solar PV system generate the same unit of electricity as the one you get from Eskom or from any municipality you are connected to. Let's say if your previous electricity bills was 2 Rand per kilowatt hour, and if it is increased to 3 Rand, that means that every unit of electricity that you generate through solar, you're saving about 3 Rand, which means that you even increase your savings if the electricity price goes up.
Thank you, Herve. Thank you for answering that question. Then we've got another question that says, is this food industry, if food industries have consumed much more energy per day as approximately 5,000 kilowatt hours, 2,000 kilowatt hours required, and nighttime 3,000 kilowatt hours required, what are the solutions that you can design? They don't have sufficient rooftop for the same. Is this solved with high efficient panels? This question is for you, Herve.
So in this case, definitely we have to look at ground mount system or a carport, depending on the available land from the client. So the question was, yeah, so the system that we can design here, we definitely, if there is a night consumption, then there is a need to put in a battery backup solution. The purpose of putting up a battery is because during the day, there is times where the solar PV system is generating more power than what you require. Let's say, for example, your question, you say per day, you use about 3,000 during the day and then 2,000 during the night. And then there is some other days where the sun is shining and solar PV system is just generating more than 3,000. And then there is a need to store the excess power into the battery. And then we can then discharge the battery during the night to be able to extend your self consumption and also reduce even further your electricity bills.
Thank you, Herve. If there's any more questions that you haven't got an opportunity to ask in the chat box, we'll give you some time. If you could just mention the person's name and they will answer the questions. I see we have one more here. Are there any cost-effective products or services for the medium-sized farmer that is looking to save expenditure in their business? Herve, do you want to take that question?
That sounds a little bit more on the finance side. Say, are there any
So let me repeat the question. I think it's more for you. Is there any cost-effective products or service for the medium-sized farmer that is looking to save expenditure in their business? So probably cost-effective tech, I would assume.
Yeah, definitely. We have got look at Neosun Energy. We always use tier 1 component from solar panels to the inverter as well as the battery. But however, for a medium-sized farmer, we have got a solution for that. We can use tier 1 inverter, tier 1 panels, as well as battery backup, and definitely that will be able to provide you with savings on your expenditure.
Okay, great. Thank you for answering that, Herve. If there's any more questions, oh, there's one more. What is the minimum amount for a PPA funding? Dieter, this question would be for you.
Okay, so what we've picked up with the cash flow analysis, obviously over like 15 to 25 years, is that in generally, you're not going to see a massive saving for the client if the system is under about 100 kilowatt peak. And this applies to both grid ties and battery systems. So we've got a lot of sub 100 kilowatt peak systems in the field right now. And what was projected on paper versus real time, because of the municipalities and ESCOMs and all of the ups and downs, they haven't shown as great savings as what they could. So we found that the threshold to start with that is about 100 kilowatt peak and above. And that can think from 1.5 million up to 3 million rand and above.
Okay, great. Thank you for answering that, Dieter. We've got another question in the comments box. What does the pricing of Neosun products look like? Would you say that it has affordability across all industries? Herve, this one is for you.
Yeah, we've got a very competitive price. First of all, because we do manufacture our own panels. That means that we can play around with the margin and then adjust to the client's need, together with the inverter as well as the mounting structure. So Neosun looks more competitive within the market currently.
Thank you, Herve. Thank you for answering that. Any more questions?
Jeanine, I think you skipped one question, which type of battery system you
Oh, okay,
recommend?
great. Sorry about that. Okay, so we've skipped one question. Which type of battery system do you recommend if going with a battery system that ROI needs, and how long?
So in terms of battery, we work with tier 1 lithium ion batteries. Those are the battery we work with, and it comes with about 10-year warranty and more than 6,000 cycle. That means that you can cycle that battery every single day, and then you still have about 80% of its maximum capacity after 10 years. So in terms of return on investment, it preferably to have it between, let's say, below 10 years, which is about, let's say, between 4 to 6 years, just because the battery warranty is about 10 years. So it's always better to recoup your investment before 10 years.
Thank you, Herve. What are some of the benefits that farmers can receive from SARS, such as a tax deduction? Dieter, do you want to attempt answering this question?
Let me quickly have a read at it. You say, which one is it?
It's the last one. What are some of the benefits that farmers can receive from SARS, such as a tax deduction?
Ooh, okay, yeah. So obviously, if a client does go with a PPA, they will not be receiving that. If the client does go outright purchase, then obviously they can go out and claim the 12B or the 12J. I think definitely Mr. Mouton would have a definite answer for this, as obviously he deals with agriculture. But that's what they're going to basically see. I think the incentive at the moment is that 125%. But that also looks like it's coming to an end this financial year as well, though. They're going to be dropping it a little bit, so it's not going to be as high. So yeah, I don't know if that answers the question accurately.
Okay, great. We'll take a few more questions before we wrap up the session. How do solar power systems improve business outputs and profitability? Herve, do you want to answer that question for us? Herve, do you want to answer that question for us?
Of course, when you've got a solar PV system installed, it's no-brainer. You will definitely have to realize savings, and savings comes in the fact that you don't draw much power from the grid, but you're actually drawing power from the solar PV system, because that's the closest or the nearest energy generation that you have. Then you have to draw from the solar PV system before you rely on the grid, which means that you have got reduction in your electricity bills or energy consumption from the grid. That makes you save in the long run. And of course, in terms of cash flow for the company, you kind of increase profitability and have more savings in the long run.
Thank you, Herve. Thank you so much for that. I've got one more question for Dieter, and that will be our last question for the session. Is the 12B tax claim still available after the early buyout of the system?
It can't be, because obviously how SARS works at the moment is the first person that claims a 12J or a 12B receives the full benefit of that. That benefit cannot be handed over. But what we do differently, though, so this is another thing that we have to discuss. So what we do is we don't claim the 12J or the 12B when we install a system with our financing through Neosun. What we do is we do 20 years provisional tax. So we're going recoup 20 years worth of provisional tax back. We then put it back into the original funding algorithm to help assist the client to get the PPA tariff down even lower. And we've went and worked out, if you take that saving that we're going to give the client over the 20 years, it is far, far, far greater than if the clients had gone for the 12J or the 12B from day one, which is, like I said, they status 125%, but it actually comes down equivalently to about 33.4%.
Thank you so much, Dieter. So we've run out of time for this session. A special thank you for joining us on this webinar this afternoon. We so appreciate your presence. Please kindly fill in the form at the end of the webinar. And if you'd like one of our business development managers to contact you to tailor a solution for you. I see Herve's raised his hand. Herve.
Hi, Jeanine, sorry to interrupt. I just want to answer to this question.
Yes.
Seems quite important. It says, is this food industry have heavy loads of inductive load? If done before the solar plant, there should be done energy auditing and consulting green technologies, load will decrease. Why you don't recommend BLDC for the inductive load before solar plant? What would Neosun method be? Our approach usually is that we do a site visit, and sometimes we log the site to see what's the load consumption, what's the peak demand. And this is mostly for hybrid solution because you've got battery backup and then you've got an inverter that needs to provide power when there is load shedding. But for a grid tile solution, there is not really much need to know what's the peak load. It's just a matter of providing a system that reduces your electricity bills. If you would like to know what Neosun would recommend here, usually we work with the VSD, which is the variable speed driver. In the case where you've got more inductive load. But we can take this discussion offline. You have got our contact details. We can discuss this further. Thanks, Jeanine.
Thank you so much, Herve. Yes, you're more than welcome to reach out to us on LinkedIn or email your questions to us. And one of our technical teams, one of our technical people will definitely be able to assist you with all your questions. We also would like you to complete the form at the end of the webinar if you'd like to be contacted by one of our specialized business development managers. Just a quick announcement also, we'll be hosting a business network breakfast on the 22nd of October 2024. If you'd like a personal invite, please can you contact Roshan Reddy, she's our marketing manager at Neosun Energy. I will drop her email address in the comment section. We've got a few seats left, so if you can just book your seats as soon as possible. And it will be an amazing opportunity to connect with myself, Dieter, and the rest of the Neosun team. Thank you for joining us today. We're looking forward to bringing a greener, sustainable future for your business. And yeah, we'd like to also take Duncan and Victor for joining us today. And Dieter, thank you for your time as well. And to all the staff and to all the attendees that joined on this insightful webinar, we really appreciate you. And just remember, if there's any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to us. And yeah, we look forward to the opportunity to save you on your electricity bill. Thank you.